Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin.
Welcome to episode 47 of the Dick Turpin Roadshow. My name is Pete.
I'm Matt.
And there's been shitloads of news just over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The community's gone ape shit.
Yes. Well, it does feel like it's been a long time since we last recorded, so I wonder if it's got something to do with that. Not to mention the last time we recorded, we didn't use any show notes, so there is a little bit left over as well. So
yeah, true.
It has built up a bit over the last few days.
Did you see Oliver did a post saying that he was ill?
Yeah, after Linux Outlaws 300 recording, lol 300.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I just thought he was sweaty from the bed activity. or walking up and down the hill. It's steep in Liverpool. No, that's my role. I'm the one that always complains. We've got to go much fucking further.
Yeah. Like, I'll just take a taxi back to the hotel. A taxi? I thought you were Mr. Short Arms, Deep Pockets, Mr.
I remember that when you said, "I'll get you money bags," when I said I'm going to get a cab.
Yeah. Bloody hell, it's only a 5-minute walk.
It was 50. I looked on a board, when you said to me, "Oh, just go back and book in and then come back here." And I was like, we don't want much. And I only got 2 seconds down the road and there was a sign and it said 50. Because real interesting in Liverpool, most of the signs, they do have times, if you look on the boards. It says,
how far to walk between places.
It says
they do it in
5
London
minutes
as well.
and whatever. It said, to the live building, I think it was, which is only another sort of 2 or 3 minutes down the road from the Strand, and it said 15 minutes. I thought, you fucking bastard.
You got there in good time though.
Yeah, well, I had to, didn't I? I ran. Mind you.
You needed the exercise.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you have to run through Liverpool anyway.
It's your default mode in Liverpool. Scally's chasing me, run!
Well, we did have that guy, didn't we, as we was walking down the road, come up and say, "Do you want to..." Well, I can't do a Liverpool accent, but he says, "Do you want to buy some champagne?"
Yeah. It was on the way to the show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about how dodgy Liverpool was as well. And then this guy walks up to you and was like, "Look, mate, tenner, I'll sell you a bottle of champagne." Like, where are you going to pull it out from? I don't think I want the bottle of champagne that's been down your tracksuit, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I think he either thought we was absolute idiots and was going to hand over 20 quid and he'd have just legged it down the road. Yeah. Or he was, plainly, he was going to steal to order.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, just hang around outside this this off license. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Just wait here. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a growth industry.
Yeah, it's a popular pastime in Liverpool, anyway.
It certainly is. Well, we haven't got any corrections because we haven't got any corrections.
No, nobody bothered to send us feedback again.
Well,
we're unloved.
Yeah, we haven't had any feedback. Nobody loves the show. The 4 listeners.
Why bother? I'll just send it here. Go on.
Yeah, the 4 listeners we did have totally lost fucking interest. Nobody can be bothered to write in. They're all obviously writing into the show that cannot be named because they've got 6,000 listeners apparently.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I did mention to Moggers in the IRC channel earlier about one of the news items that's coming up and saying, well, you don't really have to read it. You can just listen to our next show. And he was like, yeah, that'll be in about a month's time when I've got through the rest of my podcasts.
Well, you put in this first one, which
it's a little bit old news now, but it's actually still relevant. It's the Python trademark problem, and the trademarks are a part of the whole IP issues that free software has to deal with a lot. But this company is selling VPS products, cloud-based virtual servers, under the brand name Python, which is obviously a very popular programming language, and used in, certainly where I work, used by many services online. Django is a very popular Python web framework. And so the Python Foundation are looking for people to write to European, what are they? Right, let's say write to Europe. Let's say, they're going to write to Europe.
Write to Europe.
Right, just write a letter, put on the envelope Europe, and it will get delivered. But yeah, just to companies that are using Python know what the trademark is, just to get the point across to the trademark authorizing bodies that Python is a common in-use trademark, so that this company doesn't or can't claim Python as their own brand.
Now, I mean, I know I'm not the most grammatically correct writer in the universe, but I noticed this bit. It says, "We got legal counsel in the UK." Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we got legal counsel in the UK, and we, in brackets the PSF, are opposing the community trademark application, but our own trademark application hasn't yet matured. What's that?
Well, the thing is that if you trademark something, it has to be legally recognizable as a unique entity. Python doesn't necessarily have to be trademarked as in the programming language. Because it's so widely recognized that it doesn't need a trademark to survive. And why would a free software or a foundation that is looking to save as much money as it possibly can go through the whole legal process of trademarking a word? It doesn't really make sense for them to do it.
Apart from when a situation like this occurs.
Except for this situation, yeah, which of course requires a lot more input, which is why I'm bringing this up, because if you do use Python in your business, then you should really be writing in and saying that this is used as a recognized name and cannot be trademarked.
Yeah, I mean, I think potentially, well, I personally tend to agree with what they're saying, where it says, "We are going with the trademark rights we have developed through using Python consistently over the past 20 years. So it's almost well, I was going to say prior art, but it isn't right, but yeah.
It is kind of, it runs along those lines, but it isn't an appropriate term for trademarks, but it is a similar concept. There are plenty of businesses out there that have not trademarked their names because it wasn't worth it, but are still legally recognized names.
I mean, I do agree with you stroke them. I mean, it's pretty poor, and I feel that they have a case. I haven't used the word strong case though.
Well, it's really worrying because
I agree with all the arguments they put forward, but I still can't, to a certain extent, bring myself to use the term strong case. I think they have a case. I'm not sure about a strong one. In theory, they should win. Just have a niggling fear in the back of my mind.
The PSF won't win the trademark.
Yeah, I mean,
it's possible.
They've been using it for the past. The problem is you and I. We all know what sort of, I don't know, government trademark bodies, whatever, are like. It's all very well to say, "Well, yeah, we've been calling ourselves Python for the last 20 years, so surely to God we own it." And like the trademark say, "Yeah, but you didn't actually fill the form in, did you, son?"
Yeah, but why should you have to? I mean, if somebody wanted to call themselves, if we've been running this podcast for 20 years, and somebody started making a business that was called Dick Turpin Roadshow, then we have more of a right to the name than they do.
Well, there is, don't forget, there is that rock band or whatever they are called TDTRS.
That is true, yeah.
And they was here before us. And I think you'll find Dick Turpin was around long before us, even though everybody keeps saying how fecking old I am.
It's really worrying for this company as well, because they are a company that sells virtual hosting services, which would be almost 100% certain that they use Python somewhere in their stack, and they haven't heard of Python before. It's obviously, if you
and you believe that, I mean, it's clearly obvious that what they've done. I mean, as I told you, I mean, we provide backup services, cloud backup services, and an idea was floated of, for a limited period and for advertising purposes, calling it Sage Cloud Backup. And I turned around and said, you can't possibly do that. And the response was, well, why not? And I said, because you'll have Sage down on us like a ton of bricks. And the comment I got back was, yeah, but the idea is you back up your Sage software to it. And I said,
yeah, but they own the...
But it's still irrelevant, So the point I was trying to make there was, obviously what's happened is some bright spark of this company has gone, I know, majority of our software is Python. It's called SL's Python, whatever it is, hosting. What is the company actually called?
What, this, they're not called Python, it's just the service they're using is called Python.
Oh, right, so it's the same.
Parent companies are Viba and Pobox.
Pobox? All right. P.O. Box.
Could be P.O. Box, but
P.O.
even
box.
that is a
even
bit
that's
strange.
Bad as well, isn't it? It's a post office box. These people clearly do like stealing other people's names.
Yeah. Their new service called Ubuntu is...
yeah, Ubuntu Virtual Server. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong. All right, I'll change my wording then. I could understand, I don't know what they're called actually, whether they're called the Trademark Council or whatever the body is called. I could understand them to a certain extent turning around and saying, yeah, but nobody's actually filled the form in. I don't see that if it did ever go to court, which I very much doubt, that I don't think that this company would have a leg to stand on, and I think the Python Foundation would win. But I think what would happen is, and what really maybe they should be considering doing is getting it officially trademarked.
Well, if they win this case, they don't have to.
True. Well, yeah, true.
It's a free way of getting a trademark.
Matt, you bugger. I know what your underlying argument is here. I can smell a rat. What this is about is saying, well, we don't need to have trademarks, do we? Let's just have gentlemen's agreements. And it will be a nice idea, but then, like you've had here, you get some company come around and crapping on your lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that story, actually. No, it's quite a good one. I don't think I've got any more I can add to that, really.
Nicely patronising of you.
Sharpers will come around and crap on your lawn. I do like this one. Did I put this in? No, you put this in, didn't you?
I think I put this one in just because I saw it first, but I knew you would like it as well.
Go on in.
Well, Linus Torvalds calls Red Hat a cocksucker. Which is the hyperbolic headline of the article, but if you actually read into it, it doesn't. It's nothing quite as bad as what he actually is trying to. The message he's trying to put across. Of course, I would say that, I suppose, but I mean, he feels that the strategy. This all goes back to the UEFI secure boot stuff, which I've had to deal with recently, and it's actually not too bad on a Intel machine.
Right.
But yeah, they Red Hat want to put all of the security keys and things like that into the kernel, rather than maintain it separately from the kernel. And Linus felt that was a massive kind of fuck you to the kernel maintainers. compared to
there's
dealing with it separately.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 things there, really, isn't it? I mean, my first question, I was quickly scanning through because I'll be honest, I haven't really read any of the stuff that we put in tonight, so I'm going to wing it, as they say, which I normally do anyway. So bollocks. Does he actually say cocksuckers in any of this?
Not in the article I've linked, but he in one of the other articles I read, he did say that at least that was the headline. Which
this is what worries me, because I did a post the other day, and I said, the thing that makes me not makes me laugh as such, but what I love about sort of Linus is, I don't think I'm that bad a swearer. I know people sort of mention it. I mean, John Archer said in his blog post, Pete was coming down the road effing and jeffing, and I thought, well, that's a bit harsh. So anyway, I did a post and I said, every time I see Linus say anything these days, I don't feel so bad about people accusing me of swearing, because it seems that man can't open his mouth without some sort of expletive coming out of it. But then it was pointed out to me that, did he actually say this? And when I read the article that I based sort of my comment on, it was like you just said, that was what was in the headline, but I couldn't find it anywhere in the question.
Well, I have it as Linus responds, guys, this is not a dick-sucking contest. If you want to parse PE binaries, go right ahead.
Right. So
if Red Hat wants to deep throat Microsoft, that's your issue. That's nothing whatsoever to do with the kernel.
Yeah. I mean, there's another thing as well. I tend to come down on the side of Linus on this one, in one sense, because I think the kernel's big enough as it is without adding more crap to it.
Well, might as well keep adding stuff to it. if it's big enough, you might as well keep throwing stuff at it.
No, I want the kernel to be thinned down. I don't want it being
you're a Minix user then.
I don't want it being fucking bloated.
You want Minix. You're using the wrong kernel.
I do you know what I want? I want a kernel that's got 3 lines of code. Not that it would ever happen.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that one. But
I think it comes down to Linus doesn't like the secure boot UEFI stuff and would much rather it stay out of the kernel, which seems reasonable to me, considering that it's kind of a separate issue. It's a layer on top of the kernel rather than involved in the kernel.
Here's a question for you then, and I wouldn't know the answer. This is why I'm asking it. Could they go into Grub?
They may do, yeah, potentially, yeah.
Because that to me would seem a better place to put them.
Yeah, it may do. I think it's unlikely. I think no one wants really to go near it as much as they can.
Yes, but but that's a stupid attitude, because unfortunately, like it or not, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, but why not have it as a separate thing rather than hand it off to somebody else to maintain?
Yeah, but somebody's going to have to maintain it. So what did now?
Yeah, fine. But maintain it separately.
Yeah. So what you're saying is then Red Hat maintains their own thing. Ubuntu maintains their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's the free software one as well, which is for everyone.
So yeah, well, fuck that. Let's just have the free software one then.
Well, yeah. That is a better solution.
Because, we're going to touch on this again later on, I think, possibly. I'm starting to go full circle again. I'm starting to get a bit sick of all this fragmentation, to be honest with you.
Fragmentation?
And everybody doing their own thing. So, personally, I would far rather either, the keys was put into Grub, or we used, everybody just maintains the free one and uses the free one. And doesn't do their own thing, doesn't maintain their own thing.
There's another issue with the keys being in the kernel as well, is that if those keys ever get revoked, they're then in the kernel, so you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, but we're getting new kernels all the time. I mean, surely it's just a revision.
Yeah, but if your key gets revoked, you can't boot a kernel to load a new kernel.
Yes. Okay. Nobody likes.
But anyway,
nobody likes a Smartosh, you know.
We've had some new laptops that came with Windows 8 at work recently, and actually it's quite a good story because I used Windows 8 and I was like, this is all right. It's not too bad. I can live with this. I could probably get along with this. And then about 5 minutes later, I was like, I hate this so much. I can't wait to get rid of it. Because I was like, oh, okay, I can understand what they're going for here. That you got the these little things and you press on the big buttons and stuff. And how do I switch between window?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't work it out. I can't find it. Where's it all gone?
And how do you close something? And,
I can't even work out how to close a window.
Yeah,
close a program.
Should I tell you what you do? How do you close a window? This is how mad it is.
I switched off the computer.
You pulled a power cable out. I've been there, got the T-shirt.
I really did. I was like, right, that's it.
Now, what you do is this is how weird, this is how stupid it is. What you have to do, so let's say, I don't know, you've got Explorer open in your first window, right, is move to a next window, right? And then, you know...
How do you do that?
And then what you have to do
work out how to do that.
And then what you have to do is you have to view active windows, and you know, like sort of like now on GNOME 3, where where it will sort of focus out so that you can see all the desktops, right? And then so what you do is you do a sort of similar trick to that, and then you sort of close it from there, close that first window.
Oh, right. This sounds brilliant, you know.
Oh, what a piece of shit!
It seems to have turned a laptop into a device. If you see what I mean, that it's like on a mobile phone, you don't really close applications. They're kind of applying that to a laptop, which I guess in this day and age does kind of work, but I feel uncomfortable not being able to have enough control over the applications that I'm running.
Pete hates it.
Yeah. As I say, I liked it for about 5 minutes until I started properly using it, and then it was completely... I think it would make a slight improvement if they had touchscreens, these laptops. Maybe that might improve things. But...
I don't know. I mean, I've not tried it on... tried it on a touchscreen. So I suppose... Seeing as Pete always bangs on about he likes to be fair, I suppose I should be fair and say maybe it is better under a touchscreen. I've never used it under a touchscreen environment, but certainly under the mouse and keyboard environment I used it on, it was crap.
Yeah. I kind of want to drag stuff around, and it doesn't seem like that's particularly intuitive.
But I tell you what, somebody did say to me, which made me, well, it should make you laugh as well, made me so, I pissed myself with laughter, because they went, oh, they've got a great new feature, they've got multiple desktops, and I went, fuck off, we've had that for years in Linux.
Well done.
Well done, yeah. They went, oh, it's really good though, you've got multiple desktops now. I was like, no, we've had that for years. I mean, I said it today. Do you know, when I'm in, at work, because I do. I've got all different things. I've got it's only an Excel spreadsheet really, but I've got a pricing generator for my ESET, and then you got your email and whatever. So when I don't know how you work, but I shall tell you how I work. I mean, on all of my Linux machines, I have something like 6 virtual desktops. And I have each individual application open full screen on those desktops, and then I just use the Control Alt and arrow keys to navigate between the desktops.
How I work,
and so I can work really quickly like that. So I can look at my emails, look at Google, do this, do that, and the other. When I'm on my Windows machine, I know it's not hard, but it just so infuriates me having to maximize and minimize, and and then check and the times you sort of you click, I don't know, I want to go back and look at the email, and I'm clicking on the Outlook icon on my taskbar, and the fucking thing won't maximize, and I'm like,
yeah. I'm even looking at people at my work at the moment who are supposedly Windows experts. So one of the guys I'm working quite closely with at the moment is building Hyper-V servers, and I'm looking to install Ubuntu on as virtual machines on there, and doing stuff in Hyper-V is so many mouse clicks, and it's The equivalent of that sort of stuff in Linux is just you just open a terminal and you start typing stuff. And it's like Windows is so mouse centric and it's so slow because there's absolutely no predictability about where you want to click or how it's going to respond.
As I say, I
can't stand that.
I mean, I was dealing with a guy on the phone who I was taking some credit card details and blah blah blah, and I sold him some units, and I did, and I said to him, I said, I'm not being funny. I said, I wish I was on my Linux machine doing this now. I said, because I could deal with this so much quicker. I said, I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting because I'm having to go through 3 different windows, which. Yes, it was sort of maximising and minimising, but you've got to remember on a Windows machine, you can, to a certain extent, you can minimise that first window. So the second one you've got is overlaying the first one. But if you want to see the third window, which is behind, you've got to maximise the first 2. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I was on a Linux machine, I'd just scroll between the 3 fecking desktops. I wouldn't have to faff about. I could just, well, not scroll, I used the wrong term there. I could just move to the third desktop and I could be working, and then I can move to the second one, move to the third one. There's your answer, my friend. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Peter. But I had to faff about, and I spent half the conversation just apologising for the length of time it was taking me.
So bringing this back round to secure boot, I was installing Ubuntu 12.10 on these machines because we mainly use Ubuntu at work. Not my personal choice, obviously, but it does the job. And it was they had secure boot on them, and it was relatively easy to go into the BIOS and say disable secure boot, so long as you know what you're looking for. The main problem I had was because I was booting off a USB stick for the ISO image, that it wouldn't come up with anything. So you say, I would like to boot from this USB stick, and then it would just go blank, and it would sit there forever, indefinitely, giving you no information about what was happening or why. And you go, okay. And then you reboot a couple of times, and then you finally go, oh, maybe I didn't press save when I changed the BIOS or whatever. And you have to go in, and you're like, oh. So that was the only issue with it, was that it wasn't obvious what it wasn't doing.
Right. Does it? Yeah. I mean, does it sort of clearly sort of say something like UEFI menu or something? And
I wish. No.
Oh, right.
So in the BIOS, I think it was like something along the lines of enable secure booting system or something, which is just vague enough to put off most users. But if you know what you're looking for, then it's probably that one. Right.
So I take it you just disabled it and then.
Just so it's disabled and then it
F10
went
or something.
Absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a bit disappointed that even in 12.10 it wasn't working with UEFI, but maybe it's just because UEFI hasn't been around. Sorry, not UEFI, the secure boot stuff.
Right.
It just hasn't been around long enough for 12.10, but I'm sure it'll be fixed in 13.04 at the end of next month now. So yeah, we'll see.
But right, okay. I was going to say something out of turn, Ben, because I thought I saw something today about developments stopped on 13.04, but that's...
Developments stopped on 13.04?
Well,
we did have... That was that story, yeah. Where is the story in there that we were going to talk about the rolling release stuff?
That is in there. Yeah. It was in there.
Oh, yeah, so I see it now, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll come to that in a moment.
Sure, yeah.
You've put the next one in.
I've thrown another one in. This is about the Chromebook Pixel, the new one that Google have released, and there's starting to be some reviews of it now, with people getting their hands on them. Linus Torvalds, as we mentioned earlier, the man we mentioned earlier, has got his hands on one. Yeah. And I mean, initially when I looked at it, I thought, because it's about just over £1,000 UK pounds, and I looked at it, I thought, that's expensive. And everyone was like, well, yeah, it does have this high resolution screen. I thought, yeah, high resolution screen. And then when I looked at the actual resolution, I was blown away, because even high resolution screens on most laptops these days are only about 1,600 pixels or so. This is 2,000 pixels, over 2,000 pixels on the horizontal. And you're just like, whoa, that I can appreciate why that's £1,000 now.
Fucking hell. You have to save up hard to buy one of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain something along those lines is going to be one of my next laptops, but £1,000 is still a lot of money.
Isn't it just?
Yeah, I mean, my laptop's £700 when I bought it new, and I'm just thinking, really, it's got a good spec and everything, but £1,000, an extra 300 on top of what I bought just for a better resolution screen.
Thing is, I mean, what? Unless you was, I don't know, unless you was into graphics design or a web designer, I can't see. I'm just going to say this. I know, I can't see the to a certain extent the net benefit for the average user. Okay, maybe if you watched movies all the time on it, they'd be a better quality movie.
No, not really, because it's still only HD in the end, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah. So I'm just, I mean, it's a nice thing to own, but I don't see that it's of a huge benefit, as I say, unless you're a graphics designer or a
designer, a graphics designer or a developer. I think it would come down. So it's 2,560 on the vertical pixels. Or whatever. It's 2,560 by 1,700. Yeah, that's a shitload of pixels. No, you're utterly right that your typical user will probably not buy this machine, especially at that price. They will look at it and go, well, what really would that be gaining me? And they would be right that it wouldn't be gaining them a lot. But developers and graphics designers would utterly kill for a display like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be of much benefit to somebody that wrote code, really, would it?
Yeah, because you get to see more on screen at the same time.
Yes, of course, yes.
And also, if you're reading a lot of text at one go, if you have a higher DPI like that, it's easier on the eye.
I didn't think of that. Okay. Right.
That's the main things behind it. Yeah.
To be honest, I was just thinking, well, yeah, because you get a higher resolution. I was limiting my brain on the basis of machines that we have now, and sort of saying, well, you can't get much more text on the bleeding screen. Well, of course, higher resolution, of course you freaking can.
So these new laptops we got at work, I think, were 1,060. They were the upper end HD resolution.
Right.
Screens, and actually all I did in the end, because everything was so tiny, that I just upscaled the font to make everything a viewable level. But what it means is that when you're looking at text on a screen, if you're reading a lot of text, it's crisper and it's easier on the eye, supposedly easier on the eye to read over a longer period of time.
Basically, Matt, what you did is you was dumbing down your screen, wasn't you?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear. I think I've got my title there. I'll have to rework it a bit. Dumbing down screen or something like that.
Yeah. Dumbing down Matt.
Screen dumbing down. Something like that. Unless something better comes along. And then finally.
Well, no, two more. Another one from me.
Two more?
And this one is music industry sees first revenue increase since 1999. I don't know how true this actually is. IFPI. Well, yeah. How much do you trust the industry's own information? I mean, of course, they would want to make it sound like they are, succeeding. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that they haven't been making money for the last, or claim to not be making money for the last 13 years or so. And finally, now that digital is taking off, that they've finally gone, oh, actually, yeah, we are making money now.
Yeah. I'd say, actually, I saw something in a similar vein to this. Wasn't it somebody who's got an album out or something, and they said, like, we don't care about sharing or something, because finally, like, the industry is starting to make a profit or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, well, they're making a profit now, so I can share more data or share more of their files.
So it's gone back to, what was it, the days of the Arctic Monkeys, whereby they became famous by the very fact people were sharing their music around.
Well, you think Gangnam Style is only famous because people were sharing it around in a pirated form. And ripping off the video and all sorts, it's he only became successful because of his lax attitudes to copyright infringement.
See, we missed a trick there at LOL 300, because if they'd have been videoing that, me and you could have done TDTRS Gangnam Style.
Or what's the current one? Everyone's like doing this mad dance at the moment. We'll do the Harlem Shake. That's it. Utterly brilliant.
The Harlem Shake.
Yeah,
I've not seen that one.
It's a dance that it's kind of like, well, you just have to watch it really. If you type "do the Harlem Shake" into YouTube, it makes the page do the Harlem Shake. The whole page starts moving and dancing around. It is utterly brilliant.
Yeah. In other words, what's happening there, listeners, is Matt is trying to rickroll me.
No, it is really real, and it is very funny and very addictive. So, final one is you put this one in, so off you go.
So, I put it in our show notes before I had a big bust up with Alan Bates on G Plus over this.
You're going to name and shame him, right?
Fuck it. I don't care. So, some people may have read this, some may not. But the founder of GNOME, Miguel de Icaza.
I
always call him Kaza, but it's Icaza.
Yeah, I don't really know.
But anyway, apparently I read this, that he's basically moved over wholeheartedly to OS X, to macOS.
Yes.
The title says that he moves to Mac. Now, Alan kept going on about the fact that he was using a Mac laptop, and I sort of said, well, it's not about that, from what I understand.
So does Simon Phipps, so...
Yeah. Yeah, Phipps uses one as well. And I was like, my sort of point was, well, no, he's totally moved over to macOS or OS X or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, commonly called.
Yeah, I mean, I was just basing it around some of the comments that he'd made as well, which was, more of a concern. I mean, bear in mind, this guy, he started the GNOME project. I know he's done shitloads and he's been working really closely with Microsoft over the last few years. And he loves Mono and people have said...
Mono? He's a little bit more than loves Mono.
People today have been going like, he's not that much of a freedom lover. But, he was working on the Linux operating system. And it was just that he put, it's, as he says here, I invested years of my life on the Linux desktop, first as a personal passion, in brackets GNOME, and while awoken for two Linux companies. He can't spell. It should have been working for.
Yes.
Fuck me, I say I can't spell. Working for two Linux companies, my own, Simian, and then Novell. During this period, I believe strongly in dog fooding our own products, which I didn't quite understand what he meant at first. And then when you moved on,
dog fooding is, like on Facebook, the Android app is utterly shit. And part of the reason is because no one in Facebook has an Android phone. Dog fooding essentially says that if you work on a program, an application, that you also use it.
Use it, yeah.
So dog fooding is that you try your own dog food. You know that it works, and you know that it works as best as it can because you use it.
See, I'm going to, from now on in this show, I am now going to be wearing two hats. I'm going to have my Peter's hat, and I'm going to have my Linus Torvalds hat. And with my Linus Torvalds hat on, it's called eating your own shit. Blah blah blah. He moves on. I routinely chastised fellow team members that had opted for the easy path and avoided our Linux products. So that's like the Linux ethos. And then he says, on the revelation itself, to me, the fragmentation of Linux as a platform, the multiple incompatible distros, and the incompatibilities across versions of the same distro, where he's put were my 3 Mile Island Chernobyl, without noticing. I stopped turning on the screen for my Linux machine during 2012. By the time I moved to a new apartment in October 2012, I did not even bother plugging the machine back in. And to this day, so basically, he's whinging about sort of all the fragmentation and whatever. I mean, this is what I said earlier when we was talking about, the boot keys and what have you. I really don't think that, I do not agree. I'll put my cards on the table. I do not agree with Red Hat maintaining their own version, Ubuntu maintaining their own version, OpenSUSE maintaining their own version.
So you don't like the idea of having 3 different versions?
No.
3? No. 3 is fragmentation. 3 is just choice, surely.
All right. So then you got Slackware.
That's not really a major distro, though, is it? Because do they really make money? Are they a major company that sells consultancy services and products?
Does Ubuntu make money?
Well, yeah, that's debatable, but they are a major company.
Yeah. So all right. So whose keys are they going to use then?
Ubuntu.
No,
well,
Slackware.
they'll use their own.
So Slackware's going to use their own?
Not necessarily. They may use the FSFE or FSF ones.
All right. What about Arch Linux?
Probably use the FSF ones as well.
All right. What about... I was trying to... what's the other one? What about... oh, feck me. My brain's gone dead. I was going to say it's not, and I'm the one that usually knows its bloody name. I was going to say Mandrake, but that's gone now. Caldera. Is it? It's not Caldera.
No, you're really going down the list of distro watch, aren't you?
Yeah, certainly am. What about these other distros? Whose keys are they going to use then?
They probably will use the FSF ones unless they're prepared to put up $100 or whatever it is to get your own key. You could talk about Mint or Fedora, couldn't you? Debian,
Mint, Debian,
CentOS.
Debian, CentOS.
Those are ones that are likely to run their own.
But they will. No. That's not fair. That's not fair because CentOS would use the Red Hat ones, wouldn't they?
They wouldn't use Red Hat's keys. I don't think they'd be allowed to. They would have to use somebody else's. But that's not actually fragmentation because all that is keys. That's just a text file. What the actual underlying system that implements them is fundamentally going to be very similar across all of the distros. That isn't fragmentation.
You've got a rotten word in there. You said very similar. If you'd have said similar...
No, I said fundamentally similar. But anyway.
You said very similar. I will play the recording back to you. I'd far rather use the free software ones and make everybody use the free software ones.
To be honest, I think the fragmentation he's talking about is a bit of a misdirection. I think he's been relatively unpopular in the community for some time, and he's probably a bit fed up with it by now. Mainly from working with Microsoft on the Mono stuff, which has been very successful outside of the Linux community, but within the Linux community, it's still seen as a bit of a kind of an ugly dog that no one really wants to go near.
I mean, as I turned around and said today in the conversation I had, I mean, if you want it's true, to a certain extent, I'm not fussed either way.
No.
It also, I did put on it as well. In actual fact, I put it. I did put a post on a, funnily enough, on a different subject. But in a similar vein, to be honest with you, I wondered if you, I have a favourite thing that makes me smile whenever I watch some of these sort of reality programs like Airport, and there's the American one, and even some of these customs programs that I like to watch now and again. And the ones where there's this Joe Public, and we'll pick like Airport for example, flying with oh God, what's their bloody name? It's not Virgin, is it? What's the other freebie one? Not Ryanair.
EasyJet,
that's it, EasyJet. Where they go, I'll never fly with this airline again. And I think to myself, I bet the management's fucking shitting themselves that you've said that.
Well, I've had that problem recently because I was buying new hard disks, and every time I say, well, I'm not sure where to go for the Samsung ones, the Seagate ones, or the Western Digital ones, you will find for every single hard disk manufacturer somebody saying, I will never buy them again. And if I listened to every single person, I could never buy a hard disk ever again because somebody always has a problem with something.
My point was a bit sort of slightly, you as the same, but slightly different in the sense that these people think by turning round and going, I'll never fly with EasyJet again. EasyJet's going to go, that's it, fuck me lads, cry, that's it. Our shares are going to go through the roof because Matthew Copperwaite will never fly with us again. Right? So, so it's a pathetic thing to say. And I wonder whether in actual fact that's almost what he was doing. He was like, right, I'll never work with you again because you're all crap.
And he will probably come back at some point, more than likely. He's still a young guy. He's got a lot of time. And, every great man can still make mistakes. So, it doesn't have to be that this is the end of it. It's just that's one point in the story where he goes, you know what, I'll give Mac a go because it is Unix underneath. It is similar to what I'm familiar with. Fuck it. Well, let's give it a go. Let's let something else inspire me. I mean, we are massive freedom zealots as far as podcasts go. We use Twitter and G+ and things because you want to look outside the community every so often,
You and I have basically built a friendship on the fact that we're both very pragmatic when it comes to things, and we have no problems with using other technologies and operating systems and what have you. Our usage of choice is Linux/FOSS, but we've got no problem using it.
It is the right way of doing it, but it's always the goal. But sometimes you just have to say, look, to be honest, well, our web server, the TDTRS web server, is IIS, but it's also free. So,
I mean, the thing that, and there's nothing to hide about it. We hopefully we endeavour to be the most, as open as we possibly can. And the only reason it is on that is because basically I'm, at this point in time, I am able to get that for us for free. Because certainly, okay, maybe not at the current moment, but certainly before the amount of free non-returnable gifts we've received, we couldn't have afforded to host the show. It's as simple as that. I certainly couldn't have afforded it. Matt couldn't have afforded it. And without the hosting, there would have been no show. We could have put perhaps up 1 or 2 episodes, but the show would have died there and then because, probably quite rightly, because we were crap. Maybe people say we still are crap, but we didn't have the revenue, to support hosting a server. My view at the moment is I don't see why, when we still have the offer of this free facility, why we should spend money on a hosting. Because to me personally, I don't care where the bloody thing's hosted. But there you go, going off at a tangent, really.
Well, it is kind of related, because you got to say at some point, yeah, fair enough, it isn't the perfect solution, but at some point it won't be the perfect solution. So if we hosted this on a VPS, then how far down the stack do you really want to go to find something that isn't free software? Or if we had somebody else hosting it on their servers, well, what if the web server went down at some point? Who do we report to? We have no control over it. So I would prefer it that we maintain our control and admit to our failings and say that we are looking at every opportunity that comes our way to improve the situation. But in the meantime, we're going to have to live with what we have.
I mean, as well, and another thing I just wanted to quickly add in, as I said on that same thread that I posted today on G+, and as I said regarding Miguel, never burn your bridges, because you never know when you might want to cross back over them again.
I wonder where you heard that from.
It's an old saying.
Yes, is it? Okay. I didn't think I was that old, but
Yeah, it's an old saying. But never. So
says the man who left Identica.
Well, I didn't fully burn my bridges. I set fire to it. I didn't fully burn it because
you still left one rope across there.
Because I didn't delete my account. I didn't entirely burn my bridge. So you're right. Yeah, I mean that. And I'm going to say quite openly, that would have been a huge mistake if I'd have burnt that bridge. There are a fair few individuals on Identica who I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for. Those are ultimately the ones that I don't know. I was going to say in my circle, but that's G+. They're the ones that are in my timeline. And I don't want to go over this again, but obviously, if there's somebody that I don't like, or I feel that they don't like me, then I'll block them. I don't need. I don't need to have them in my life. Thank you very much. So there you go. So you're right. I'm glad I didn't burn that bridge. I did set fire to it. I did, like you say, everybody makes mistakes. I did write a silly post now, in hindsight, on my blog, saying like, they're all a bunch of bastards and they treat me horrible. They're fucking bastards, and fuck them off. I did do a post like that. But no, that was silly. But hey, I'm glad I'm back on there, and I'm loving the friends I got. I don't post as much as I used to. Some days I have a bit of a blitz on there. Some days I might not even post anything. I think I've only done about 2 posts on there today. So you're right. There you
go. That's nice to know. I'm right.
You're right. You're right. It's not very often.
So that finishes our random warming up discussion, which has gone on certainly long enough.
Yeah, well, I knew it would. So
it's a bit of a catch-up show, really, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So just a quickie then.
Really, right now, I'm indisposed.
For Archie Woof Woof, I did only put one sort of silly thing in on a personal level, really. I was speaking to Theroux and a couple of other people, and I had got installed on my Lenovo T61, I had got Manjaro on there, And sort of I had sort of said, oh, I really must get Arch Linux back on something, because I hadn't got it apart from in a virtual box. I had got an instance on there, and I said, but I've got this Manjaro, so I suppose that sort of counts. And through says, no, fuck, it doesn't. Well, no, he said, is it Dutch, isn't it? Because he's Danish, so that's not quite the right accent, is it?
Well, you got to think, kind of, gosh, it's not ready yet.
Matt does Danish. So like,
or is that Dutch? Actually, I'm not sure now.
Is it Dutch? I don't know what it is. He said, get proper Arch on there. So I installed proper Arch Linux. However, the Lenovo T61 is a pile of fucking crap, right? Because not only, apparently there's a bug. I should have tracked it down. Apparently there is a bug in the installer, and it doesn't recognise your network devices correctly. And so what it does, it gives them crappy names. So instead of like having Etho0 or WLAN 0, is it?
Yeah.
Mine's got some weird, like, bloody name that I think has Etho in it. I'm not sure. It's certainly got a 0 in it. So what happened was, while I was doing all the install process, network worked fine. The minute I rebooted, no fucking network.
No.
And I was like, because the software was looking to bring up interface Ether, call it Etho, but it's Eth0, isn't it? It was looking to bring that up, and of course, it was saying, I got fucking nothing like that. And it was something like
that?
So it was something like the actual network is something like D527, whatever it is, like it's some fucking weird name. But I've cut a long story short, I fathomed it all out and fudged it and made my system realise that it should bring those two network devices up. And so network is working fine, thank you very much. I've sorted that out. My only complaint is I am stuck on 1024 by 768. I've tried everything. I've tried X and R. That don't frigging work. Loads of people tried to help me on G Plus the other day. None of it worked. The only thing that will work is I can scale the screen.
I'm wondering if you might have to set in your Xorg conf a profile about the frequencies of the monitor. That's fixed issues for me before. Yeah,
there's no Xorg conf for a start off.
Well, you can put one in and it will still read it.
Yeah, I might have to put one in, which is I didn't really want to do, to be honest with you. But
no, it's ideally you don't. But in situations like that, you kind of have to fall back to it. Unfortunately,
we'll have to go back to the bad old days of
Well, I've got KVM at work, and Xorg doesn't like it when I disconnect the screen, and so when I come back, it just opens up my massive, 23-inch screen at work. It opens that up at 1024 by 768 because Xorg's gone. Oh, your monitor's disappeared. Okay, I'll revert the resolution. Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens at home here and at work. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. In actual fact, at work, you're like how I have to fix it at work. It does the same. I'm on a KVM switch at work between two machines. And how I have to fix that, you're going to like this. I have to lock the screen. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So what I have to do is let's say I've changed over and the display size has changed. The way to fix it quickly is to lock the screen, right?
Yeah.
Then unlock the screen, and miraculously the display goes back to the correct ratio.
For me, I open the display system information, and so when you go to system settings and you go to display, and just opening that just resets it for me. But I've finally got round to writing an Xorg conf file, and it hasn't changed now. So it's just a matter of telling it to shut the hell up and do what I want it to do.
Either that or at home. Although it's weird that Fedora must have just done an update, because my Fedora machine here now that I'm on tonight, that was always showing the correct display. Then it was broken for a bit, and every time I booted it, I had to run an XR bash script that I'd written.
Oh right, yeah. That was the other way I saw of doing it, but that sounded like far too much work. So
well, I wrote an XR and R bash script for it, and so what I used to do was, if ever it booted and it was wrong, right, run that script. However, I've noticed over the last, I think it was about 4 days, now when I boot, it boots to the correct resolution. So you've just got to love KVM switches. They're a pile of crap.
Yeah, no, I hate them massively. I hate them so much.
They're a pile of crap.
Yeah.
This is the night of crap.
Speaking of which, should we do our main topic?
Yes, because time is rolling on, isn't it?
Yes. We've titled this section Ubuntu Watch. Since in the last couple of weeks or so, we've had a substantial amount of Ubuntu and canonical news. So, shall we get cracking with that?
So everybody's going to know most of these news items. If you don't, then either there's 3 things. If you don't, either you don't use Ubuntu, you do use Ubuntu, but you're not prepared to admit to it, or you live under a rock. First item everybody knows about, and that's the fact that they've cancelled UDS, or at least they have cancelled the physical UDS,
yes,
and now they're going to run virtual UDSs instead.
Yes. Yeah, which, from a spin point of view, is probably a good idea. You've got the technology, you building the technology to be able to have communications between all sorts of people all over the world, and you're still flying people around. It makes sense to not have a physical one and just do it virtually. The other side of this, of course, is that it definitely looks like let's save a bit of money. Because flying people from all over the world to a particular country is incredibly expensive. And okay, yeah, you can believe the spin and the hype and whatever, but there is that they wouldn't cancel these for a laugh. They would cancel these because it costs a lot of money, and along with all of the other stuff that's been going on, I mean, see our history of show notes. It's just another example to me as Canonical looking to button down and actually start saving money rather than spending money.
So, out of all the stories that we are going to talk about in a few moments, this one issue apparently has caused the biggest shitstorm within the Ubuntu community, so my spies tell me.
The UDS one?
Yeah.
Oh, right, really? Okay.
Yeah, apparently that's caused the biggest shitstorm. And the reason why I personally believe is because of what you've just said. It's about the fact that people can no longer get those nice free trips to Spain and wherever else. Where else have they had them? Belgium, haven't they?
We've had one in the US as well, of course.
Yeah. They had one in the US. Don't forget. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All paid. Well, not. I don't think everybody, but quite a lot of them was paid for. Flights, hotels, and goodness knows what was paid for by Canonical.
I think exclusively paid for by Canonical.
Yeah.
It's a business expense, isn't it?
But some of these were but some people that went to these UDSs, Matt, were just some of them were just Joe Blogs. You know what I mean? So I can hear the girls yabbering. Some of these people were just like Joe Blogs people. Do you know what I mean?
They weren't Canonical people.
No, I think no,
they were Canonical people.
No, I mean UDS was obviously developers and whatever, so they weren't necessarily employed by Canonical. And they also did, I don't know how many, I think it was more than one at any rate, but they also did, now that's going to creak, they did sponsored people. So somebody from the community.
Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
More than likely, it was someone that had done the most posts on the forum, or
patches
something like
or
that.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't think it was literally a case like put it this way: someone like me would never have ever got a sponsor. not unless some of the people I knew actually sort of relented and sort of put a good word in for me. I don't think I would ever have got one. But reading between the lines of what I've seen today, I think that's what I think the backlash really has been about that. I do accept some of the arguments that people have put forward of there is nothing like meeting people face to face and
God, yeah. I mean, UDS has to be a massive social event for canonical people. If you think, like, in any company that you work in, there will be a time at which you go down the pub and have a drink or have a Christmas meal or something like that. If you work for Canonical and you're spread all over the world, when the hell do you get that opportunity? So, this is the equivalent of that for Canonical. It is very important for a human social aspect to be able to physically meet somebody, put a face to the name kind of thing. Okay, obviously they must do video calls and stuff, but it's very different being in the same situation and having a bit of a laugh with the people that you work with. It creates such a better atmosphere to work in. I can believe it caused utter uproar in Canonical, because the people in there know exactly what UDS is about. And it's probably a bit of a piss up, but it's about getting to know people on a social level, which is hugely important.
And the other complaint, of course, was quite rightly is that they're using Google Hangouts for it, which
brilliant. Well,
isn't exactly free, is it?
Well, considering the speed that Canonical push software out these days, I imagine in 6 months' time they will probably have their own system for doing it. I think it's very likely.
Do you mean like their website that stays up all the time?
Yeah, their cloud services. Yeah, probably. Yeah, but we can. I suspect that will be the next one on their roadmap. Yeah.
Horrible. I'll tell you what, we'll have to change our name to the Ubuntu hating show.
Can we call ourselves UUPC, like Ubuntu? I don't know. How would it work?
But we'd have to have something like I don't know. I don't want to say hating, because that's not fair. I don't hate them at all.
No,
and I don't even want to use the word "them," to be honest with you. I mean, that's
that implies they have personalities.
That's quite offensive as well, really. It's just like, they're like they're in life, and you'll come across these people, and I don't mean like in a sense of a murder or whatever, but you come across people in life that really should have victim stapled on their forehead, because it doesn't matter what they do, they just walk into it. They don't sort of like, I don't know, they don't set out, let's say, for example, they don't set out to upset you, but just by opening their mouth, you end up having an argument with them. I don't know if you've ever met. I mean, I
didn't. Like I don't come across that very often myself, but I do know the situation certainly. Yeah.
And over the last, I don't know, over the last sort of couple of years, Ubuntu just can't seem to help itself for tripping up over its own feet.
No, it really can't, can it?
You know what I mean? And it's almost like manna from heaven for a cruel git like Peter. Because I am, when somebody's walking down the road, and I mean, actually, I'll tell you something now, and it's horrible. I shouldn't have laughed, because obviously the poor sod died. But it was in America, and there was like a family in there, and two brothers and whatever, and they heard this noise, and the one brother dashed into his other brother's bedroom, and a sinkhole had opened and swallowed his brother up, and I'm sort of ashamed to say I laughed, like, because I just sort of, I know it's not funny because of poor sod Dave, but I just had this vision of this bloke sort of sitting there, like, I don't know, on his computer saying, and that was it, next thing he fucking disappeared down his hole. You know, I'm the sort of bloke that, you know, you used to say, if you was walking down the road and somebody fell down a manhole, I'm afraid I would laugh. And so, you know, everything that's happening with Canonical at the moment, it's just I find it hysterical.
No, I do know exactly what you mean. They seem to have a serious case of foot in mouth disease.
They do, don't they? Because like it just seems, everything just lately that they do, it's like, it's ill-conceived. It's not been checked to make sure that it's not breaking any laws. It's like, you know.
I do think we are focusing hugely on Ubuntu, perhaps to a pretty extreme extent, though. I think we tend to assume the worst because they have made the worst before, and it's not necessarily the case. And I think the next one is a good example of that. The next article we can talk about. So, shall we go on to that?
Yeah, go on then.
Actually, well, no, okay, I've got the order wrong, haven't I? But So Ubuntu has announced a new windowing server for replacement of X11, which is kind of how windows are drawn on your screen in Linux, called Mir. And my initial reaction to that was, well, why do we need that? We've got X, we've got Wayland, which is like the next big thing in my book. Why do we need another one? And then actually talking to Ubuntu people about it, there is a justification for it because Wayland is actually just a spec and there isn't a whole lot being built from it at the moment. There isn't a massive community of people working on Wayland in the same way that there is a big company behind Mir, Canonical of course. And also Mir will work on the desktop and on mobile as well. So there are good aspects to it. And it's, despite my initial reaction, which I do feel a bit bad about, there are good things going for it. But I suppose that's part of this podcast, though, is you reward the good and you despise the bad. So
apart from the binary blob drivers.
So there is going to be links in with the graphics manufacturers, AMD now, and Nvidia and Intel, of course. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that won't be pushed upstream. And as Shane M had mentioned a previous,
don't you mean
screamed
spat out with bolts of fire?
Yeah, the license. So okay, Wayland is MIT, which is fine. The Mir is GPL, which is good, but it's GPL with copyright assignment. And what that means is that if you ever submit a patch or an update or whatever to Mir, to the Mir code base, you have to sign off the copyright that you own over to Canonical. And the problem with that is that if Canonical then want to take their football and go home, with Mir being the football, they can, and they go, well, fuck it, fine. You've added all this work to Mir. It's mine. It's now proprietary. Good luck. So it kind of buggers up the whole purpose of the GPL by signing over copyright. It looks great on paper, but if you think about it a bit, actually, there's not that great a benefit to it over Wayland, in my opinion.
No, I mean, you obviously you started off that by saying, well, after, I mean, this is one of my, and I mean, you don't need to read too deeply into my words. Most of my words are very sort of paper thin anyway. So what I mean by that is, what I was about to say, one of my problems with Ubuntu, but that, that's not, I have got a problem. I lie awake at night, tossing and turning, worrying, God knows what else. It's just a throwaway statement more than anything. One of my problems with, I'll say the Ubuntu community then, and you sort of did it just then. Anybody can put a good case forward for anything, probably could put a good case forward for, sort of popping upstairs and murdering your family.
Yeah, a lot of money in it. You get the life insurance.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching this ID channel, this investigation, what is it, detective or something, and it's all about bloody murders. Christ, I could get away with a murder now because I've learned where they've all gone wrong. I know where they've all gone wrong, so I could get away with it. So what I was going to say was, you can. I mean, I've read the blog post as well. We'll put obviously all the links in the show notes. And yeah, you can make a good case for anything. Again, I would have liked to have seen. I've thought people were working on Wayland, so you've sort of educated me tonight. I didn't realise it was just a specification at the moment, and nobody had actually produced anything. I thought somebody had.
I think there is code because they've updated Mesa, which is the OpenGL framework for Linux. So there is definitely people working on code there. Okay.
So, I mean, if that had been the case, then okay, simply because potentially there was no alternative to Xorg, then okay, fair enough, use Mer, but you've got to be honest and open and say, Mer is tainted because of the proprietary blobs in there.
Yeah, from a free software aspect, I suppose. Yes. So yeah, because you can't.
And as you've highlighted, the other factors that if you write any patches for it, you must sign them over to Canonical.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, just for those two factors alone, it is tainted.
Yeah.
Put it this way: if you tried to, I know you couldn't just sort of go with Pete's flow. If you tried to give that to Uncle Linus, he'd come and rip your lungs out.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while somebody can talk this up, whoever that would be it John O'Bacon, be it anybody, go, oh no, well the reason we've done it is no. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to sell me a tainted product here. You are trying to gloss over the two factors that the community as a whole would not really like. You're trying to gloss those over by highlighting the benefits of it, and that's almost like saying, look, I can give you lots of money, but I'm afraid I have to come round and sleep with your wife. I know that's not really what you want to do, but hey, at least think about it. You're going to get lots of money. Now, unfortunately, a lot of Ubuntu users are going to go, well, all right, for the money, fair enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Another aspect to this as well, which I'm seeing, and I'm sure the Ubuntu fanboys would say, well, you're just all negative. But Linux is taken up in business because there are the thousand eyes. You've got a lot of people contributing to these projects that the businesses can capitalize on and essentially get free work out of people. So if you've now divided the community between X11, Wayland, and Mir, you've kind of quartered the amount of people working on each individual project. And if Ubuntu are going to concentrate solely on Mir, that means there are less people working on it than there are X11 and Wayland. And the businesses don't benefit from the extra input of the rest of the community.
By any chance talking about a splinter community there?
In a sense, but from a business aspect, because they will see, well, why would I want to switch away from X11? Well, X11 works fine for most businesses. In fact, well, to be honest, actually, I think a lot of businesses don't really use X11 on the servers anyway. But if Ubuntu or Canonical are doing all of these projects in-house, they're not spending as much time doing other stuff. Businesses at some point are going to start going, oh, hang on a minute, why do we really want you working on this other stuff? Let's concentrate on making the stuff that we want useful.
I mean that's another accusation I've levelled against Ubuntu in any case. You know, it's they're just, are they perhaps working on too many things? You know, it's almost like that saying of too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah.
They've got that many things they're working on, and maybe not. Now, I'm not going to badmouth it from the point of view of saying, we got Xorg and whatever, because clearly, from what you've said, and there isn't another choice. I don't believe there is Xorg, Wayland if ever it gets off, and meh. And yeah, I like that as well. It's meh.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? Meh.
Meh. And but as I say, my only thoughts. I'm not even going to say complaints. Actually, I was going to say my only complaint, but my only two thoughts on it is, as I say, is the binary blobs in there, the proprietary, and the fact, as you've highlighted, you know, any patches you submit, you've got to sign away to Canonical. That alone is crime number one, isn't it? I mean, you know, if the Linux community had 10 commandments, I would say that would definitely be something like number 3 or number 2. You know, thou shalt not steal thy colleague's work.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Especially if it's something that's going to go completely against, or has the potential to go completely against the GPL. People are anti-mono, and all that is patents and a promise from Microsoft, and this has the potential to do the same thing, you know, or worse even, you know, just take it away completely from the community.
Well, as I said to our good friend Dave Morley today, there's another piece of the jigsaw in my puzzle of my prediction.
Well, yes, of course, there is this. All that's left for Canonical to do is to build their own kernel, isn't there?
Where's that kernel?
You've been saying for a while. You should really put a bet in Ladbrokes now. You know, I think or if you'd done it 6 months ago, you definitely would have got good odds anyway.
I wonder what odds they give me.
Yeah, well, you'd probably have to go to some specialist gambling site, but yeah, be interested to know.
Do you know, I might, soft as it sounds, I might nip up the town and say, right, look, I want to put a bet on.
Actually do it, yeah, really do it, because if you win it, that will be hilarious, and you can you can rub it in Popey's face. The winning ticket, just go up to him and just wipe it across his face.
Five, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put a lot. I don't know what, £5, you reckon, something like that.
Yeah, £5. Yeah, why not?
£5. So what I could do then is I could post a copy of the betting slip.
Yeah. Oh, definitely put it on G+. Yeah.
See, you have to keep telling everybody you're a worse bastard than me. You really are. People think I'm they really think you're the nice guy. You're so evil.
Well, Popey put on G+ yesterday. It was like he was being sarcastic, but he was saying along the lines of, I find it so funny when people say Ubuntu is just an African word for can't install Debian, and that Ubuntu or Canonical are going to create their own kernel, you know, and he was like, it cracks me up, and I plus one'd it.
Yes.
Because I was like, yeah, it is quite funny until the point where it becomes true. It's only funny while it isn't true.
Yeah. Is that I should have seen that post, because I would have put on there something like, is that a nervous laugh perchance?
Yeah, I know. He took the piss out of one of my previous posts earlier in the day as well. So I was like, I was ready to have a go, but I thought, no, I'll be the bigger man and I'll stand back from this one.
I'm never the bigger man. I always have a go back, mate. Hey, step away from the keyboard. But well, sometimes I wish I did, but sometimes I just can't help myself. I think I'm not having that. I'm not having that. I'm not having it.
Not having it, no.
So yeah. So as I say, that's my only two reservations about it. We will see how things progress on that one. But given that Pete does like the management style of, for 2 pieces of bad comments, you must always do 1 piece of good. I have seen and was sent a link that it has now become official. Ubuntu will officially become a rolling release.
So I read that post. So it's a mailing list post, and I didn't see anything in there other than it's a discussion about the possibilities of it potentially happening at some point.
Well, it says, I think the value of the interim release has run its course. Customers, people who pay Canonical, and others to support Ubuntu, like OEMs, enterprise, have all adopted an LTS to LTS cadence. Was a good word.
Cadence?
Hey. Many community members recommend only LTS. So what that's gearing up towards is saying that, you know, people are only really installing the long-term support versions.
I wouldn't say that was true, but I see what they're getting at is that why not?
Well, I have certainly only ever installed LTS, if ever I do an Ubuntu.
No, I never. Well, on my work machines I do, but on my desktop machines I don't. No, on my personal machines, because I'm quite happy to spend the time patching it up if need be. But on my work machines, it's much more important that they do just work. So, yeah, I kind of have a different strategy. But what I can see here is that you have a rolling release, and every 2 years you release an LTS version out of that rolling release. And yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I didn't see anything in there that said anything more than this is an idea.
Okay, I'm reading through as Scott James Remnant pointed out some time ago, the 6 months cadence causes features to be either rushed or have to wait for 6 months to be released, along with other problems. There was a net split there. Actually, this must have been taken. You know, from an IRC channel, because there's a net split in there. But anyway, due to daily quality efforts, the development release is now usable every day, so enthusiast community members don't have to wait for a stable release to get the latest software and can participate more fully in the development of Ubuntu. Supporting, in the meantime, with Ubuntu, therefore, right. Therefore, I think we should keep LTS releases, but starting now, stop doing interim releases and start a rolling release.
Yeah, but it's still just an idea.
I don't read it that way. Therefore,
what is this guy's role within Canonical? Is he, you know, is he somebody who directs releases, or is he somebody who is just a developer who works for Canonical? I mean, if this was coming from Shuttleworth, I would say, yeah, this is a dead cert. But if it's coming from anyone else, I'm like, well, this is no more than somebody's more fleshed out plan.
I'll have to ask Dave then. Well, it's easy. So it must be Rick Spencer then, mustn't it?
Yep.
Right. So let's find out what he is. Copy. There are, folks. We're actually doing some live research. Have I got a browser open? I have. Right. Oh, Christ, I've got more windows open. I saw a post today. Somebody had got 26 windows open. So
vice president at Canonical. So he's pretty high up. But
so don't you think he might be able to say that then?
He would certainly have some influence, yeah.
Isn't he the guy? Hang on a minute. He's the vice president. Isn't he am I getting confused here? Didn't Mark Shuttleworth step down for somebody?
He certainly did, yeah.
So is he the guy that Mark Shuttleworth stepped down for?
Let's have a look. No.
Oh no, it's that Jane Silver. She's the chief executive, isn't she? That's right. Right. Chris Kenyon. Yeah, I've heard of him, Chris Kenyon. Rick Spencer, Vice President, currently based in Seattle. Rick was born, blah, 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 blah. Rick, doesn't say a lot more, really. I believe so I would have thought he'd got a fairly good...
I think he certainly has some influencing power, but he probably has...
Well, he is the Vice President.
Yeah, but it's far from a dead cert just yet.
We will see. I take it that it is.
Well, okay. If you want to take it that way, then you're more than welcome to. I think you're wrong, but I'm not stopping you from having an idea.
Well, I mean, I was sent this by an Ubuntu employee, saying, "There you go. Then there's what you've wanted all along." There you go. So let's see then. There's another little £5.
Yeah, there's another bet to go. I think it's a really good idea, and I would absolutely love that to happen. I would be a big fan of that happening. So yeah.
Oh, for being rolled and released, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's. I've said this before as well. Really and truthfully, I should be using Ubuntu, to be honest with you. Not only from the point of view of the fact that, it's, especially now if they're going to do a rolling release, but I mean, they have got a fantastic community, and potentially they could have the right idea. It's just they keep saying and doing such stupid fucking things. And I can't stand if you're honest with it, I tell you what really is my biggest stumbling block is, I don't even think that's the right word with Ubuntu. I can't stand the candy floss mentality.
Yes.
I don't like the sugary sweet. It just makes me want to barf all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, the whole indoctrination, the canonical indoctrination is very sickening, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh God, you think, oh God, it's great when people when people always put this positive spin on things. They've always got to be positive. It would be nice just once in a while if they was negative. Absolutely. But then I would know, Matt, that they are a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than an android that's just going, yeah, it's brilliant. It's all brilliant. Why would it be anything other than brilliant?
Yeah. Because to me, it's just to me it's just false.
Yeah.
If you are habitually
sucrose,
constantly.
No, I think I've said this before, haven't I? It was the artificial sweetener. It's
if they're saccharin.
Saccharin, yeah. It's it's saccharin love, really.
Yeah, I mean, if only once, they turn around. I know John O'Bacon even turned around and said, actually, I mean, he never would because of the position he's got. But I mean, if he turned around and said, actually, this is fucking crap. My respect estimation would know no bounds. But it's like everything is just so. Oh God.
Also, can you read the subject of that mail that you posted?
It just says, let's discuss interim releases and a rolling release.
Yes.
So yes, I see that. I see what you're saying, that this is a discussion.
Yes.
I see what you're saying, but I think you'll find that is the intention, even though it's a discussion. I read that discussion as that is going to be the intention.
Yeah.
That's the way I read that.
Yeah, no, as I say, I think it's a good idea. It'd be really cool to see it happen, and I'm not against it in any by any means. But yeah,
to be honest with you,
it's one of those, until it happens, that's when I believe it happens.
Mind you, having said that, I mean, I don't know in actual fact. Does Open Source still run Tumbleweed? I'm not sure.
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, because that was their rolling release system. They called it Tumbleweed because I mean the only one that's successfully doing it, of course, is Arch. But I mean,
yeah. Well, Debian does have cuts, but whenever I've looked at it, it's always looked like a real pain to get going. So I was like, well, stuff it. I won't bother.
Yeah. Although no, I'm lying, aren't I? What else? This is Slackware is rolling release, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. So yeah, no, seriously, they are. if they do bring that out, Pete will shower praises on Ubuntu and Canonical. How about that?
Yeah, all right then. You'll rip up your ticket for the Labyrinth.
No. I still intend to go and put my £5 bet on if I can find someone that will take it. Yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yep.
So
move on.
Right, so now we're going to move on to the feedback.
And we're done.
Yep. We've got no feedback. Come on, send us some feedback. Stop
Bastards.
being silly. Yeah, bastards. Hey? Yeah, anyone think that you didn't like us? And I know that somebody listens. Yeah, people must, they make me laugh because people must listen because they do nothing but take issue with you on the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel that that's their feedback. They feel that, they've done their little bit. They don't need to sit down in front of an email client and send something. Eh? If you don't send us feedback, how the hell am I going to read your name out? You know, Pete don't do live shows because he will constantly get people saying, say my name, say my name. So this is how to get your name said. Donations.
Yes. We don't have any of those either.
Hey!
I presume we got some stuff from the Flatter. I think we got about €25 last time I looked at the email from Flatter. I suspect the next one probably will arrive tomorrow, so that's not very useful. But yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll see if we have any listeners left by how many Flatter donations we get.
If you have donated to the show, thank you. Or sent us non-returnable free gifts.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you very much for your support. It helps us fend off those that go, you don't have no fucking listeners. With our 6,000 listeners.
Yeah, actually, do you want to put some of the Flatter money in the Labrooks bet as well? Do you want to put that on the kernel? We could top it up.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll double our money. I'll tell you what we could do. Seeing as everybody's having a move around, I could then put a bet that Steve Ballmer goes and works for Red Hat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's not a bad system actually. Whoever donates, we'll put it into. We'll gamble on the money, and you get the money back if it pays out.
Yeah. That means we've got to find the most ridiculous bet ever.
That sounds like a Christmas show.
Yeah. So there you go. So we have got an announcement on this episode.
We do, yes. I've actually added a couple more as well, which I will mention in a minute.
Oh right. Well, I can't see those.
No.
Which is good. So we're doing a shout out request for Paul Williams, who I know from G+.
Yes.
Nice guy. Basically, his email says, and he doesn't quite understand the TDTRS format because his subject line is new lug shout out request. What he should have done was something like, I don't know, oi scumbags, talk about my lug or something like that. Anyway, greetings plebs. So that's a good start. I do like that. We'll put that in the police logs. Matt's got a friend who can lie about it and say that he overheard it. I'm starting up a new lug and was hoping a shout out might get people interested. At the moment, there's just me. Oh no. But I'm sending
the Paul Williams lug.
The Paul Williams lug. Yeah. I'm sending out adverts on G+, Facebook and Twitter, as well as posting on forums, contacting through nearby lugs. The lug is the Wirral and Ellesmere Port Linux user group.
Wet plug, which is brilliant.
I do like that, actually.
That has to be the best name for a lug I've ever seen.
That's cool, isn't it? I do like that one. Wet plug. I love it. Yeah, I do like that, yeah. There is a Google Plus community, will be locked to all but Lug members. Okay. But the public message board for announcements will be on Twitter.
I like the way so no mailing list. I like this. I'm liking this.
Do you like? But I thought you liked mailing lists.
No,
So
you like mailing lists.
Oh, you're a twat, you are. At wet_log. Yeah, that's his Twitter.
The Twitter one, yeah.
Thing. Yeah. This will be on the show notes anyway. Please state that this is in capital letters and not forget the underscore, or you'll get some people selling plugs. Yeah, we plug. Yeah,
we plug. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Would have been better if you'd have had butt plug, I suppose. You'd have had some right replies then. Please share this with anyone who you think might want to help kickstart a lug in Ellesmere Port, or even better, get in touch if you're in the area. Look, we take our life in our hands going to frickin' Liverpool, not going to Ellesmere Port. Jesus. Many thanks, Paul Williams. Yeah, no, Paul's a great guy, and Matt and I are big fans of lugs. So if you are in or near Ellesmere Port, particularly thinking, I know what Dan Lynch will say. Dan will go, it's miles away. But go down and support him. Help him get his lug off the ground, because I still believe in lugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still think they're a good idea. So what you need to do, of course, if you are able to get down there, is drag a friend along, or better still, just grab someone off the street and drag them along.
Yeah. Just as people walk past, like pull them into the into the pub.
You're coming with me, Sonny Jim. And if you're lucky, I'll buy you a drink. So there you go. There's your shout out. Now send us some fucking money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do paid advertising now. If Merck can have binary blogs,
binary blogs.
Binary blogs. If Merck can have them, and you've got to sign over your patches, you can pay us to read out your fucking emails.
So I have two quick announcements. One is that the Humble Indie Bundle has got a new one out at the moment, which supports both Linux and Android, and it's got a couple of good games on there that looks pretty good. And also, I'm going to be I plan to be at Nodecopter on March 16th, which is Node.js programming quadricopters that's happening in Camden in North London on the 16th of March. So if people want to come down to that looks pretty awesome. So
yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Have you put those in the show notes?
I will do. Yeah,
all the details, and then obviously I can put them on our show notes on the website.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Thank you very much. What a bunch of idiots. So, it's the feedback details. Whose turn is it to read these out? Yours or mine?
You give it a go. Go on.
Oh, for fuck's
Oh,
sake.
okay, I'll do it then, Mr.
No,
Wingy.
I'll do it. You know, I hate talking to these people. They're all a bunch of unwashed, bleeding idiots. You know what I mean? So we'd like to say feedback details are for the Continental Breakfast Club. Is it? No, it's not. But anyway, you can join the Continental Breakfast Club on G+. Yeah. Post up a picture of your breakfast with the mug. And
don't put bacon in it.
No, don't put bacon in it, because then you'll upset a certain German who'll go, that is not continental. So, anyway, you've got our website, which is tdtrs.co.uk. The forum is broken still. You can email us.
I don't know when that's coming back up, to be honest. Even the main website is a bit broken at the moment, but we'll glaze over that.
Yeah. You can email us if you like at show@tdtrs.co.uk, or you can use the web form on our website. Our favourite method of talking to our victims, our listeners, is IRC is TDTRS. The channel is obviously on Freenode, by the way.
Yep.
You can buy our crap from Zazzle and Calf Press. I don't think anybody has just
recently.
No, not
recently, no.
Yeah, well, they're all too scared.
No, it's because we don't have any listeners.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't have no listeners apparently. No. You can send us some free, non-returnable gifts via Flatter or PayPal.
Yes.
Send us some money.
Yeah, money.
Well, considering, Matt, that we both said at the start of the show we was really hacked off.
Yeah, bad day, bad week.
Bad day, bad life. You know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
wasn't really interested in doing his shows, particularly because apparently we've got no listeners. As it turns out, I did think we had some laughs.
Yeah.
So all that leaves is for me to say thank you very much for listening to the Dick Turpin Roadshow, and it's goodbye from him.
It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from us.
Goodbye. Hello from the Dick Turpin Roadshow. My name is Matt.
I'm Pete.
And happy 300th episode to the show that cannot be named.
Really?
Yes.
Well done, lads. Well done. 300.
Yeah. Well, you know, by the time it gets round to them actually recording the show, they'll probably be on their 305th.
Yeah.
You know what they're like. They'll record 5 extra episodes by the time we get there. And they'll go, oh, actually, this isn't the 300th.
Yeah, this is the 327th, actually.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're in the leaf, and we like the leaf.
Yes, we are. Yes, the lol leaf.
The lol leaf.
The lol leaf. The lol weekend. The lol weekend. The lol leaf and the lol train. I'm gonna have a lol burger.
In lol Liverpool.
In lol Liverpool, yeah. Lollapul.
Yeah, there are Lollapul. That works for me.
It's almost like Ubuntu, kind of taking over the branding of everything for the weekend.
Well, I'll be going for a lol burger in a bit then.
Yes, yeah. I don't know when this is going to be played back though. So it could be that we've eaten our lol burger. We've probably made a complete arse of ourselves, and it's now time to pack up and go home. Back to the loltel.
Back to the loltel, yeah. Which I'll probably get a taxi back to mine.
Well, yeah, especially after last time we were in Lollapul.
Yeah, it was a bit of a walk, and
that guy that cried after he kicked over those bins.
And I'll be on my own this year because
I'm in a different loltel to you, aren't I?
Yeah, you're stopping in Central Lol, and I'm stopping in the Strand Lol.
Are you? Okay. The travel lolge.
Yeah, travel lolge. You bastard. Oh dear. Oh, well.
Say congratulations to those guys. Well done. That is quite an achievement.
Nah, I've always thought Dan was all right.
Yeah. And Fab.
Oh, and you, and Fab.
The Fab that should not be named.
Hey, it's Lol Fab. Sounds like a butter, doesn't it? Have you tried new Lol Fab?
You would think we were drunk listening to this, wouldn't you?
I spread Lol Fab on my bread and I've lost 14 stone.
You don't know how drunk he is. He might take you up on that.
What, spreading Lol Fab?
All over you.
Oh God! How long are we supposed to do this?
I have no idea. I think it was supposed to be quite short, but you know what we're like with rules.
Well, Les will have to edit it up, won't he, or something.
Yeah. Good luck to him.
Good luck with that. So, should we do a goodbye then?
Yeah.
So we'd like to say thank you very much for listening to the show that cannot be named, and it's goodbye from him.
It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from Lol.
Lol.
Lol!